We are joined here today by Ambassador Ranjit Gupta, who has spent 39 years in the India Foreign Service and was ambassador to Yemen, Venezuela, Oman, Thailand, and Spain, as well as head of the Indian office in Taiwan. He will speak on India's relations with GCC countries as a factor of regional stability. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. My presentation seeks to convey that the very satisfactorily developing relationship between India and the GCC countries contributes towards helping to create an environment of regional stability, in contrast to the policies of many other countries that, without perhaps intending to do so, actually promote regional divisiveness. The energy factor. For India to become a global power, it must grow at 8 to 10% annually for the next 3 to 4 decades. The assured availability of adequate energy resources will be the key factor. India is seriously energy deficient. Even allowing for increasing domestic oil and gas production, increasing imports from other countries and regions, and the rising proportion of usage of alternative non-conventional energy, India will still need incrementally rising amounts of oil and gas from the Gulf region, its major regional source each year. Of that, the preponderant portion is from the GCC countries, and India's oil imports from them, as a proportion of its total oil imports, have been rising steadily, growing from 1190 barrels per day in 2001-2002 to 1604 barrels per day in 2011-2012. At the release of its latest report in November 2013, the IEA chief economist Fatih Birol said that, and I quote, "After 2020, it is India that will be the main source of new oil demand. India is becoming the new China for the global energy market. By 2035, India will import 92% of its oil," unquote. Thus, the singular importance of GCC countries and the Gulf region as a long-term source of oil and gas for India should be self-evident. In the light of the new energy geography that the renowned expert Daniel Ergin is projecting, that the Americas are likely to become a larger oil producer and exporter than the Gulf region, and the fact that China, the other major oil consumer, would have far greater and more convenient access to multiple additional sources of oil and gas than India, and a far higher proportion of total use of alternative energy sources than India, the GCC countries' need of a growing, large, reliable, and long-term buyer of increasing quantities of its oil and gas would become an imperative for them also. India fits the slot perfectly as their long-term partner. The main source, and a market constantly increasing in size and being geographically proximate to a very much greater degree than any other market source combination for both the buyer and the seller, suggests the very realistic potential of the development of a truly symbiotic, mutually beneficial, long-term, mutually interdependent oil and gas relationship. The trade factor. In 2011-2012, total trade, oil and non-oil, between India and the GCC countries amounted to US $147.54 billion, rising in 2012-2013 to $159.14 billion. In 2012, total India-GCC trade made it the third largest trading partner of the GCC countries, India having overtaken the United States and staying marginally ahead of China, with only the EU and Japan ahead of it. The major trade partners of the GCC countries have been the EU, China, Japan, South Korea, and the US. These are the topmost global trading entities, and therefore their higher rankings are understandable. However, India is not even amongst the top 15 trading nations of the world, and therefore the statistics of GCC-India trade underline the enormous significance of the trade relationship for both sides. India's merchandise trade with the GCC countries greatly outstrips the financial volumes of trade ties that India has with other regions of the world, such as the EU, NAFTA, ASEAN, etc. The total trade between India and the EU, the second-ranking regional group, was 109.43 billion in 2011-2012 and stood at only 102.7 billion during 2012-2013. Just to provide perspective, Indo-US trade was only 61.36 billion during this period. The UAE remains India's top trading partner with total trade at $74.45 billion and also India's top export destination. Saudi Arabia has become India's fourth largest trading partner. During 2012-2013, total trade with it jumped to 43.78 billion, and India's exports to it increased by 27%. India's exports to Oman doubled during 2012-2013. Over the last several years, India has been able to capitalize on its strong capabilities in the IT-enabled services sector to increase its share of services exports globally. Though overall figures are not available, according to industry estimates, India's IT products and services exports to the GCC countries are substantial and have been increasing at a growth rate of above 30% annually during the past decade. These facts and figures provide a very clear indication of the enormous dynamism that has characterized energy and trade relations between India and the GCC countries in the first decade of the 21st century. The trends clearly indicate that the future looks particularly rosy. The diaspora factor. The Indian diaspora in the GCC countries totals around 7 million today, constituting about 38% of the total expatriate population in GCC countries, making them the largest expatriate community both cumulatively in the GCC as a whole and individually in each GCC country. Given that GCC countries are highly internal security conscious Muslim countries, these facts clearly represent an enormous vote of confidence by the governments and the people of the 6 GCC countries in Indians and by extension in India. A significant byproduct has been the huge and growing remittances sent by the Indian community back home. Last year, at $70 billion, India was the largest recipient of remittances from its diaspora abroad of any country in the world. And of that, about $38 billion came from the GCC countries. Thus, as far as the bilateral dimension is concerned, the energy, trade, and diaspora factors taken together make the GCC countries India's largest socio-economic partner in the world. India's interest in a stable GCC region should be self-evident. In fact, India is well set to become the largest socio-economic partner of the GCC countries in the world too, if present trends continue, as is more than likely. Though the issue has not been discussed seriously yet, India could provide food security to GCC countries on a joint venture basis, thus ensuring that a strong strategic relationship becomes inevitable. This issue should be taken up for serious consideration sooner rather than later. The Islamic factor. India has the world's 3rd largest Muslim population and the world's 2nd largest Shia population. Islam came to India from the Arabian Peninsula within the first 2 decades of the birth of this great religion. The Gulf region is the heartland of the Islamic world, with Islam's 2 holiest places being located in Saudi Arabia and of the Shia sect of Islam located in Iraq. Around 170,000 pilgrims from India go to the Hajj annually, constituting the 3rd largest contingent in the world, apart from a couple of 100,000 who go each year for the Umrah pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia and to the Shia holy places in Iraq. These facts make the Islamic factor another very significant and positive bond for India's relations with the Gulf region, a dimension that all other major powers singularly lack. The reactions of the GCC countries to the terror attacks in Mumbai in November 2007 were particularly satisfying. Since then, cooperation in counter-terrorism between India and the GCC countries in general and with Saudi Arabia and the UAE in particular has been developing very well. In this context, the extradition of two high-profile terrorists to India by Saudi Arabia in 2012, despite exceptionally strenuous efforts made by Pakistan to prevent that, is a watershed development and is a very significant indicator of just how far bilateral relations between India and Saudi Arabia have come. The UAE has been similarly helpful for some years now. For perspective, it may be mentioned that anti-terrorism cooperation with them has been more satisfying for India than the cooperation that India has received from the United States. The political factor. The political arena too has witnessed a remarkable upswing. Since 1998, rulers of all GCC countries, the Qatari Emir thrice, have paid state visits to India, and the Prime Minister of India has paid state visits to Oman twice, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia chose India as the second country to visit after ascending the throne, and was the chief guest at India's Republic Day celebrations in January 2006. The Bahraini king was in India 3 days last week on his third visit to India, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is visiting India next week. The Saudi king does not personally sign documents with foreign leaders, but he signed the Delhi Declaration in 2006, and later when the Indian Prime Minister visited Saudi Arabia in 2010, the Riyadh Declaration. These unprecedented, landmark, path-breaking documents spell out the parameters of wide-ranging strategic partnership covering security and defense cooperation also. To sum up, India's relationship with the GCC countries has expanded more rapidly and more satisfyingly, both in absolute terms and when compared with India's relations with any other country or region in the world in the past decade. This represents perhaps the most satisfying aspect of India's foreign policy performance in the new millennium. India's strong belief in the policy of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries is a sacrosanct principle of Indian foreign policy. In addition, India's policy towards the Gulf region is also non-partisan, as India does not take sides in intra-regional disputes. It is non-intrusive and non-prescriptive. India does not tell any of these countries what to do and what they should not do. India does not seek any strategic influence in the region as a counter to or in competition with the region's relationships with any third country. In particular, countries such as China, Iran, Israel, Pakistan, and the United States. India does not seek a physical military presence in the region. Mutual advantage and mutual benefit are the only substantive basis, focus, and motivation of India's relations with the GCC countries. India is one of the very few countries of the world which has very good relations with each and every country of West Asia and with all non-regional countries who are major players in West Asia. Given the extremely strong relationship between India and the GCC countries just outlined in detail, and the very good relationships with Iraq and India and Iran, India's relationship with and potential role vis-a-vis the Gulf region cannot but be considered as a considerable factor of regional stability. If other countries were to emulate India's example in policy approaches, then perhaps the region, which suffers inordinately from foreign intrusiveness, would be much better off than it is today, or indeed has been for the past 3 decades. Thank you for your attention.